The challenges facing our teens today mean that more than ever, we need to be there to support them and encourage them. The Dr. Stem Show is here to provide discussions about topics that will help promote healthy relationships, self-image, and success for teens, parents, and the community. Our young people can achieve more in life than they ever dreamed possible. The Dr. Stem Show, hosted by Dr. Stem Malatini, will foster these discussions and encourage your participation.
Welcome to the Dr. Stem Show, a show that is geared to inspire you, motivate you, empower, and educate you. We do have a special guest with me in the studios today. Her name is Rumbi, and she's coming in from Miami, Florida. But before I introduce you to Rumbi, I would like to talk to you a little bit about the t-shirts that we are wearing on the stage today. We have t-shirts that say Boston Strong. This is a reminder of the event that happened right here in the Boston area on April 15, 2013. A lot of people were hurt and injured, but it changed a lot of lives. We were evaded when we least expected it, and life happens like that. Things happen in our lives when we least expect it, and today we remember those people that passed on that special day, as well as those people that are still struggling to recover from the injuries that they sustained on that day. But I'm also reaching out to all of you, even though you were not there, even though you didn't have a relative that is there, it changed our lives, and we were injured emotionally by that event. It changed us emotionally on that day. Why am I saying that? Because on a day like that, it scares everyone. It scares all of us into thinking, am I living my best life? Am I doing the best that I want with my life? The relationships that I have in my life, am I getting along with the loved ones that are in my life? Am I enjoying the work that I'm doing? Is this really what I want to do with my life? Is this really what's satisfying for my life? Those are some of the questions that we ask ourselves when an event like what happened on April 15th happened. A lot of people question whether they're living their best life. So today we will talk about some of that, as well as help you get the best and make the most out of the life that you have. You also notice that we have a background in the background that is Florida. And most people think, well, she has a guest from Florida, so maybe she's actually recording from Florida. I wish, because my wish and ambition and everything in my bones, I want to live in Florida. I love Boston, but I want to live in Florida. So what do you do when you're ambitious, when you're dreaming big, when you're dreaming of something that you cannot have at that moment? Guess what? You can actually create that in your own life. You can create the environment that you want to see in your life. As you can see us on the Dr. Stem Show, we created that Floridian, that Caribbean background where you're by the ocean, you have the palm trees, it's nice and relaxing, and we've created it right here in the studio at Salem Access TV, right here in Salem, Massachusetts. So I hope that you will continue to stay with us, because this is going to be one inspiring story that will change all of your lives. I will be back in a minute to introduce you to Rumbi Mukonto, who's coming in from Miami.
As a youth motivational speaker, author, and coach, Dr. Stem understands that in a world where today's youth and parents are jaded and disappointed by institutions and people they perceive as out of touch with the reality of their lives, motivation is a dose that is much needed. It's time to excel. Dr. Stem Malatini is a refreshing change from the typical speaker. Dr. Stem understands the pressures, heartaches, temptations, hopes, and dreams of the generation that is just now coming of age. Students listen in transfixed silence as she speaks with the clarity and confidence of someone who has worked with teens, parents, and teachers for over 20 years. Her high-energy school assembly programs create a defining moment for schools and provide an experience students never forget. To reserve your seat in one of her coaching sessions, purchase her books, or to book her services, email her at drstemmalatini@gmail.com or go to her website at www.drstem.org.
Welcome back. As I said, we have a special guest in the house today. We have Rumbi. Welcome, Rumbi.
Thank you, Dr. Stem.
It's so good to have you in the Boston area. And before we start the show, I would like you to just say a little bit about yourself and where you're coming from.
Thank you, Dr. Stem, for having me on your show this afternoon. I'm really honored. And I'm from Miami, the Sunshine State, as you know, Miami. So I'm really excited to be in Boston. You know, as you see our T-shirts, we're wearing Boston Strong. You know, we the Floridians are representing Boston. You know, we think about this day. So we're praying for all the families that were affected, you know, with this tragedy. And we keep you in our prayers. And, you know, life is unpredictable. Anything can happen. So we just need to, you know, to just stay strong and be positive at all times.
Thank you, Rumbi. Today we have a special show that I decided because of what happened in Boston. A lot of people question whether they're doing the best that they can with their lives. And one thing that I see is education is so expensive these days. So for them to send their kids to school, it's so expensive. So money is key. It's very important. So me and you are going to be talking about profits being better than wages. And before we do that, I know right now you have your own business, but let's go back when you first came from this country, because you mentioned you're from Zimbabwe, which is where I'm from too. So that's my home girl. So we're both from Zimbabwe. But when did you come to the United States?
Well, I came to the United States in 2000. Yes, that's when, when I first came to the United States, I actually came in Boston. I was in Boston.
Oh, where did you live in Boston?
In Lowell.
Oh.
Yes, so that was a big change.
Yeah.
Yes.
So being a foreigner at that time, how easy or how hard was it to get a job when you came in 2000?
Dr. Stem, it was really hard. It was very challenging, you know, because first of all, you know, I didn't know exactly what I really wanted to do. So I did all sorts of jobs. Restaurants, nursing homes, call center, you know, so it was very, very challenging, you know, but, you know, I did everything until I finally found my niche, you know, which was, you know, the nursing field. So I worked there for a couple of, you know, in hospitals, in nursing homes, and then until one day I decided I wanted to have my own business, you know, so I started, you know, doing a research. I started with an online business, which was the eBay. And then I changed to, you know, to selling retail clothes and, you know, all sorts of things. But now I actually own a school, which is a nursing school in Fort Lauderdale, where we train CNAs, home health aides, and CPR classes.
You said a whole lot of stuff that I know a lot of you out there are going, oh my, how did she do that? And that's what happens. Because there are a lot of people that have it within them that I want to do something with my life. I want to do something different. So thank you for sharing that, and I'll ask you more questions on that. But what I wanted to tell you is we're talking about profits being better than wages. I just mentioned a little while ago how a lot of parents are finding it difficult to pay for their tuition for their school, you know, for their children in the schools. And the only way that they can come up with that money is to have more money in the bank and more money to spare. How do we do that? I mentioned that profits are better than wages. Most people are going, what do you mean profits are better than wages? Let me take a minute to explain that. When you are making profits, you are in a business. And when you have a business, like Rumbi just mentioned, and we'll talk more about how her business works. Let's say you have a clothing store and you're selling clothes. You buy the dresses for $9 and you sell them for $20. That's $11 difference that is there. That's your profit. It's extra additional money that you're making on top after you take out what you spend. So those are profits. And then wages is the salary that you're getting at your job. If you're a nursing assistant or a nurse like Rumbi has mentioned as well, because she was a nurse, you're getting paid $30,000, $60,000 a year. Guess what? No matter how hard you work, if you signed up for $60,000 a year, that is what you will get. That wage is what you have. So you have to budget yourself within that wage. So the profits, you can actually say, you know what? This month I actually need to make a profit of $15,000. So what does that mean? That means I have to sell at least 50 dresses at $200 a dress. That way I can make my $15,000. You have full control of everything that's going to happen there. And that's why today we are talking about some of the ways that you can shift your mind and start thinking of the business that you can make, the business that you're good at, that you enjoy, that you can have. Going back to Rumbi, I know you said you worked in nursing homes, you worked in restaurants, and you know, I was a nurse's aide as well.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if you're talking to a nurse's aide out there that says, yeah, you're better, you know, talking about that, but you know how those doubles are, and when do I get time to research, because you spoke about research. What would you tell that person?
Okay, I'll tell them, Dr. Stem, if you really want something so bad, you have to go for it. Because one challenge that I had with me was fear. You know, a lot of us have fear of starting a business, like where am I going to get the capital, you know, to open the business? Am I going to get, you know, resources? Who's going to finance me? But you just have to take the fear out of you and just go for it. You know, find your passion, go for it. Whether you don't have money, just go for it. And that's how I started, you know, and that's what happened.
All right, we're going to take another quick break and we will be right back.
How much difficulty do you have getting your employees or your customers to listen to the solutions you can offer? This may be one of the great frustrations in business. It's time to excel. Dr. Stem now offers solutions with her Soft Skills Leadership Training Program and the Woman's Executive Leadership Training Program. To reserve your seat in one of her coaching sessions, purchase her books, or to book her services, email her at drstemmalattini@gmail.com. or go to her website at www.drstem.org.
Thank you. And during the break, before the break, Rumbi had just talked to us about having that passion, that when you want something and you want to make a difference in your life, for those people that say, I don't have the time, when would I get to the time? But you know, by the time that I come home and I try to cook and I try to take care of this and I'm going to work, when do I get the time? She talked about passion. When you're passionate about making a change in your life, when you're passionate about making a difference and putting, you know, adding value to your life, you'll find the time. You will have the time to do the best that you want and you'll be dedicated to it. But remember now, the reason why we're doing this today is because that's your business. It's yours. It will be your baby, as I call it. So you will find the time to do what you need to do. So you started off by researching on the internet.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then, okay, you Googled something, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, yes, I did.
So run us through the steps of trying to find, you know, this business. You went into Google. What did you put in Google?
I just put how to start a CNA school, you know, and then I actually found a lady who was in Tampa, and she has a school.
Yes.
So, you know, I emailed her, and immediately she emailed me back, and I told her, listen, this is what I want to do. How do I go about it, you know? She's like, okay, I'll send you the materials. You can come to my school, and I'll actually train you how to do it. And I mean, I had no experience at all, you know, in this, owning this kind of business, because I've never done it before. But because I wanted it so bad that I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. So, you know, doors just started opening up, you know. So I did the training, and then I came back. So now another thing that I didn't have was the money.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I need to buy equipment, I need to buy supplies, I need to get a space, you know. But, you know, it happened.
So how did you get the money? Because that's another big question that people will say, well, how do you get the money?
Well, what I actually did, Dr. Stem, I started advertising, you know, like on Craigslist, you know, that's pretty free. You don't have to pay for anything. I made, you know, I went to Office Depot, made my little business cards, you know, the little flyers, okay? And then people started calling me, you know. And then what I did, because I didn't have a space where to, you know, to do my interviews, the applications. So I was meeting them at Starbucks, at Panera Bread, at the library. And I'm telling you, the first week that I put the ad, I had like 15 students I registered. So the money that I got, I was able to pay for, you know, for the building, you know, because I had to put a deposit down for that. So that's what really helped me a lot. So, and from then on, you know, I could afford to, you know, to advertise and, you know, the money that I was getting, I was using that money to buy my supplies and, everything that I needed to run the business.
Talk about determination. When I moved here, because remember I used to live in Florida as well, and I came in with the same passion of wanting to have a business. I remember coming back here and saying, I wanted to open my own private practice so that I can have my own business. And it was hard because then a lot of people said, well, that's always hard and you can't do this. What happens is when people tell you that it's hard, you become more determined to want to do it. And the way that I did it was I made a phone call. I went on Google to find out who's got an office already that they have, and they're working only Monday through Friday. And I called one lady and I said, and Helen Hawk, I have to give her credit because she was very nice. Her name is Helen and the last name is Hawk, H-O-C-H. She gave me a space on Saturday and Sunday because she wasn't working on Saturday and Sunday. Most people don't.
No, they
so
don't.
I started seeing patients on Saturday and Sunday because people are off during the weekend and now they have time. They don't have to worry about taking time off. I started my business working on Saturdays and Sunday. Why am I saying that? Because when you have made up your mind, nobody and nothing can stop a made up mind. You will do anything and anything that is possible. If you are in the business like Rumbi wanted to get money for startup and she needed that money for mine, I didn't need money for startup because then with this lady, I told her that once I see my first patient, whatever I get paid, I'm paying her for rent. So that was the agreement and she agreed. And that's how I started. Then you get a deposit for that and you start the business, but there are always means and ways. One thing I wanted to ask you, did you have to read about this and, learn about it because you said you didn't know anything about it?
Yes, Dr. Stem, I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of research. I used to live in the library. I was always at the library trying, reading about, how to start this CNA school. And I read a lot of books on, successful people that have, started, just like me with no money. And another person who inspired me was my girlfriend, Reds. She also owned a business. When she opened a pharmacy, she had no money or anything. So she kept encouraging me that, Rumbi, you can do it. So that's what I did. And I just literally did my research and I read books. I have one of my friends too who's a nurse and, she used to give me her notes as well. And, but now I just know this industry. I'm so confident in what I'm doing and I really love my job.
Thank you. We will be right back. We're going to take another quick break and we'll be right back. We're talking today about profits are better than wages.
The challenges facing our teens today mean that more than ever, we need to be there to support them and encourage them. The Dr. Stem Show is here to provide discussions about topics that will help promote healthy relationships, self-image, and success for teens, parents, and the community. Our young people can achieve more in life than they ever dreamed possible. The Dr. Stem Show, hosted by Dr. Stem Malatini, will foster these discussions and encourage your participation.
We are back. Today you are looking at and listening to two women that are foreigners right here in the United States. We are both from Zimbabwe. I have with me here Rumbi Mkonto, who is a CEO and founder of Career Prep Institute in the Miami, Florida area, where she teaches people and certifies people to become nursing assistants that will work in nursing homes, that will work in hospitals, that will work in the homes, helping the elderly patients that will be in the homes or in the nursing homes. So she's the CEO, she's the founder. What does that mean? She owns that business. You're also looking at me. I'm also a CEO and founder of Global Coaching and Counseling Services right here in the Salem area, where I provide individual counseling, group counseling, family counseling. I'm also the founder and host of the Dr. Stem Show on the radio as well as right here on Access TV. I tell you that so that you know that if it was possible for these two foreign ladies, then it's possible for you too. What is it that you dream of? What is it that you want to do with your life? What is it that you wish could have happened in your life that if you say to yourself, you know what, 10 years from now, I want to find myself being in this place, or 5 years from now, I want this to have happened in my life. What is it that you want in your life? Rumbi talked about having to go on Google. She's talked about reading a lot of material to get to where she wanted to be, which is to open up Career Prep Institute. You know, when we were walking in here today, we walked in and the president, who is also, you know, the CEO of Salem Access TV, we met with Sal Russo outside and had a quick conversation with him about today's show and who my guest was. He gave us a quote, and I'll quote Sal Russo what he said today: "Keep your possibilities and options open." When you go around life and you want something, you never know where your inspiration is going to come from. And it was amazing that here we are coming into the studio and we meet with the president of the TV show, the studios, and he gives us a quote that we can actually use on our show: "Keep your possibilities and options open." Rumbi, what did you think of that quote?
Yes, I was very inspired when Sal talked about that quotation. You have to keep your doors open. And another thing that I find is surrounding yourself with positive people. You need to stay away from, the negative. You just have to stay with people that, that value you, and you have to, just keep learning and just take off the fear. If you have a passion, anything that you want to do, go for it. Don't have anybody tell you that, you can't do this, because nothing is impossible. The sky is the limit. So, dream big, and never limit yourself,
Talking about people telling you that you can't do this or you're not good enough, it seems like people say that all the time, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes. Yeah, it's amazing. They do.
And how do you get over that? Because people will say that, oh, you can't do this, you're not good enough. How do you get over that?
And then you just have to go for it, because nobody can tell you can't do it except God. So no human being can tell you can't do anything. So you can listen to something like that.
You're right. And one of the things that I always say is all things are possible if you believe. You have to believe in yourself. You have to trust in yourself. You have to, act on what it is that you believe in, and then everything is possible, and nothing is impossible. So, Sal Russo, if you're looking at the show today, I just want to thank you for that. Keep your possibilities and options open. And parents, when you do that, I think that also helps, your children when you're open to change and you're open to doing different businesses and doing something different, right?
It does, yes. Because, with the business, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. You have options, Yes, you actually do.
Money gives you options.
Yes. That was from my, my pastor, Pastor Paula White. Money gives you options. And it sure does, because I saw it with my own parents.
It does.
Yeah, because they owned a business. So, they had options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which is funny, because I'm also, my parents also had a business. And the business it doesn't mean that you have a big business. It's a little small store.
Yes.
That, people in the countryside will come in and buy stuff. And to us, that's a big business.
Yes.
But from that little store, you could see the options that they had, as well as how you could help the community, right?
Right. Yeah. It really does.
But the good thing about it is today you don't have to wait and have a parent that has a business. You don't have to wait and say, because my parents had a business, so I'm also inspired to have a business. You can actually be the one that will be the first person in your family to start and own a business.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. You don't have to wait until, just have to go for it.
In the high schools, it's funny because today I'm looking at my hand and it's so plain, but I have seen kids that are actually, weaving bracelets that are so, have you seen them?
No.
They have bracelets that they weave. If teenagers are watching today, you know what I'm talking about. They weave different bracelets, and some even have writings on them where they say peace and they say love, and very creative, to do those things. But so it doesn't matter what it is that you're making, as long as you can make something from scratch or even buy something that is already made and sell it at a profit. You buy it for 5 cents, you sell it for 7 cents. Guess what? You've made 2 pennies profit.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. You have to play with the numbers.
Yeah.
You have to, yes.
It is. So running your business now, because a lot of people will say, okay, you talk about businesses, but isn't it difficult to run a business? And as a woman, how are you finding that?
Yes, it is a little bit challenging at times. You know, I know not every day is going to be good. You'll have some days when, you know, there's no business, you have bills to pay, but, you know, you can't let that discourage you. You just have to, you know, think of other things to do, because right now I'm in the process of opening another branch, and now, you know, we sell uniforms, scrubs, we sell stethoscopes, we sell, you know, books. So, you know, that's also an extra income too, you know, because the bills, they don't stop, you know. So we're doing all sorts of things really, you know, to just keep the business going.
As a youth motivational speaker, author, and coach, Dr. Stem understands that in a world where today's youth and parents are jaded and disappointed by institutions and people they perceive as out of touch with the reality of their lives, motivation is a dose that is much needed. It's time to excel. Dr. Stem Malatini is a refreshing change from the typical speaker. Dr. Stem understands the pressures, heartaches, temptations, hopes, and dreams of the generation that is just now coming of age. Students listen in transfixed silence as she speaks with the clarity and confidence of someone who has worked with teens, parents, and teachers for over 20 years. Her high-energy school assembly programs create a defining moment for schools and provide an experience students never forget. To reserve your seat in one of her coaching sessions, purchase her books, or to book her services, email her at drstemmalatini@gmail.com or go to her website at www.drstem.org.
We are back. You know, before the break, you talked about having your own line. Now, that's interesting. Tell us how now you are expanding and going to that level. How did that, you know, get to you? How did you get inspired to do that?
No, because I've seen, you know, Kimora, I don't know that you know her. She has her own, the other day I was at the uniform, that was last year, the uniform stand, I was buying my own scrubs. So I'm looking, you know, Kimora, she has no background in this, and she actually has the, you know, the baby fat scrubs. So that's what inspired me. So I said, I can do it. I'm going to have my own. I actually have the name for it. It's called Rumco.
Is it R-U?
R-U-M-K-O.
K-O.
That's for Rumbi Makonto, Rumco. Yes.
Look at that.
So I'm in the process. I actually spoke to a distribution company in China. So they're supposed to be getting back with me soon. So that's what I'm working at right now.
I'm looking at you and I'm thinking of the people that are in foreign countries from different, you know, foreign countries, and they are in a country where they know that it's not their country and they're limited to what they can do and their abilities, saying, you know what, we're in a foreign country, so I don't think I can have a business in here. Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing what you're doing and how it's continuing to expand, and just thinking of people out there that are listening that, wow, it's possible.
Yes, it is. It is. As I always say, America is the land of opportunities. If you don't make it in America, I don't think there's anywhere else you can make it. So that's why I took advantage of this. It's a land of opportunities.
And, you know, I agree with you. And at the same time, in addition to that, I also want to say one of the beliefs that I have is, yes, America is the land of possibility, which we all believe. But then we do have people that are listening in that are in other countries, and they go, well, what about if I'm not in America? Guess what? You can make it possible where you are, in whatever country that you are. You can make those, you know, possibilities come true for yourself. And it's all different. It takes time. It takes energy. Sometimes you will fall, and sometimes it will fail. It's not going to come out. Sometimes you make a product and then nobody buys it. You don't have enough buyers. Don't lose hope.
Yes.
Don't lose hope.
Don't lose hope. No,
because I'm sure, you know, I mean, and help me. Don't you have some times where you have no students because yours is in school?
Yes, Dr. Stem. I get those moments like, okay, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? You know, it does happen. Not every day is all, you know, goody-goody. You have days like that when nobody shows up. The phone is like, it's dead, you know. But you just have to keep believing in your dream and say, hey, today was a bad day, tomorrow will be better. And you just have to keep going.
So, because I remember even in mine, it's a daily challenge. You have days where you say, maybe it's too much. I don't think I can handle this. And a lot of people, when that feeling comes in and those obstructions, you know, or stumbling blocks come in, most people say, you know what, I can't do it. I don't think it's possible. I'm not going to have a business, or I'm not going to make a change. Forget it. It's too hard. And that's when we're saying that's the time now that you need to even work harder, because you probably are right at that moment when everything is going to work out and opportunities open up. People will come in and that phone will start ringing, because now she's been here for a couple of days now and the phone has not stopped ringing, even though she has assistants that are working in the office registering people. Because she is the owner of the business, there are certain things that they'll call her and ask her. The phone has not stopped ringing. But you heard from her that it was hard to get to that.
Yes, it was very challenging. Very, yes, but you have to do it, you know. And I just love what I do, and you just have to keep learning. And once you have the business, more doors will start opening up. So, you know, it's pretty cool, you know, yes.
So for my students that are out there, for my youth that are out there, you probably are thinking, oh, okay, I'm just going to have a business and, you know, no problem. I don't have to go to school. Guess what? It all starts with that school that you're doing right now, that high school diploma. That's what opens up the doors that Rumbi has been talking about. That's what opened up the doors from, you know, us to be able to run the counseling services that we do, or run the business that we do. Because a lot of people don't understand that in the business, the land of business, you have to read contracts. You have to be assertive enough to communicate with people that will, you know, bring more business to you.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh,
and that requires an education and a background.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely does, yes.
Yeah, you just can't do that, because I had a kid that said to me, well, I'm going to be like Donald Trump because he didn't even need to finish high school. But you have to be able to read.
You have to read, to communicate, yeah, because it's all about communication. Yeah. Yes, you have to, you know.
I call that the key. When I see high school, for the high school students, I say that's the key that will open up the doors to the world for you.
Absolutely, yes, yes. Education is the key. You got to do education, and then from there, you know, you can start your business.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then after that, you go to college. But for the college students out there that are listening in, if you're in college, or if you're a parent that is now preparing your child for college, let me tell you the importance of you sitting down and making sure that your child, or if you're the student, that you are choosing a degree that will be of value that you can use. There are many students that are graduating today with a bachelor's degree, and they say, oh, I'm a graduate. I said, oh, what are you going to do with your degree? And guess what? I don't know what I'm going to do. You cannot afford to waste all that money in this time and age, because education is more expensive now. So it's not like if you have a bachelor's degree, oh, I can just go back, because now you have $100,000, $200,000 bills, you know, that you have to pay, and you have a degree that you can't use. So please, please make sure that you either get with a career coach, you get with your guidance counselors, or meet with the colleges. Go through and do a test that will tell you what degree that you can use, or what classes that you can take. But do something that you can use. Parents, I know a lot of parents want their children to be somebody, and they say, well, you know what? I want mine to be a doctor. I want mine to be a nurse. But sometimes that's all good. But if your daughter has no interest in nursing at all, and they go to take that nursing because you, the parent, wanted them to be a nurse, it actually is a disservice. One, to you, because you've wasted your money, but two, to your baby daughter or son that wanted to do something else that wasn't nursing or being a doctor or lawyer. So it's important that we pay attention to what it is that we're doing with the college education that we have today. Rumbi, it's been great having you as a guest.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Stem.
you so much. It's good to have you in Boston. If you have one word, one statement that you want to tell the audience in Boston, what would it be?
All right. Again, I'm going to encourage anybody who wants to start a business, you know, just find your passion. Don't let fear, you know, control you, and surround yourself with positive people, and just go for it. Just go for it.
Thank you. As I always want to say, make each day count and be the best that you can be. Until the next time, thank you for joining us on the Dr. Stem Show.